If you stream, I hate you. Hi everyone, this is Mini Fridge Matt. Welcome to the Real Trophy Score podcast. This week I'm joined by Cross-Gen Cameron.
Hey.
And no one else. Here at Real Trophy Score, we like to discuss all things PlayStation, trophies, and not being $200 billion in debt. This week we talk about Metal Gear Slogging, the Game Pass Exodus, and blink and you miss it frame rates. But first, here's the song of the week. I can't stop achieving in every game I see. They just don't realize what they do to me. When you play me till the end of the night and let me know that your ratio's high, I'm hooked on achieving. I'm high on completions that boost my gamer score. And if you can't get it from that, then you seriously need to listen to some more good music.
I'm honestly trying to think of... I know there was a movie that probably came in the last year or two. Like, that song is used all the time for movie clips and that kind of stuff, yeah? But I'm trying to think. It's just made me think, where have I heard it recently?
Your big hint for this week is that it was a song that featured in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I feel like there was one more recent, but yeah.
It's definitely been in a few songs.
Definitely Guardians,
in a few movies, yeah. All right, so let's get into the show. So if you happen to know what that song is, you can send your answer to Real Gamerscore with that's a 5 instead of an S on True Achievements to go in the draw to win usually some sort of gift code, $10 or so. Kirby sorts it out. Or he doesn't, I don't know. It just goes into a big black box and he takes care of it and we announce it on the show and then I never hear from it again. Yeah. So for all I know, like, he might not be giving prizes to anyone, we just haven't heard the complaints.
That's exactly it.
If you do want to complain, you can come talk to us on Discord, discord.io/realgamerscore. Discord's basically a big chat room, or number of chat rooms that we control. Some good memes going on, there's some bad memes. There's some hot takes, there's some super lukewarm takes, that's my specialty. And then also people not reading previous posts and getting called out on it. Right, Aftos?
Oh, I thought you were referring to Alex.
Well, there is that too. I mean, look. There's a lot of that going around. Tonight's been a fun one.
Oh, jeez, I need to catch up. Also, we do have quite good systems for dealing with complaints. We right-click on your name, we then continue to mute you, and then we carry on with our day.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, unless you're a Patreon. So, patreon.com/realgamerscore, if you want to give us some money, then we might just listen to you. I mean, your chances are better because we have a special Patreon chat room that there are less people in, so you can get heard over all the noise of, Valak usually just S-posting up the place.
Good guy Valak.
Yeah, good guy Valak. Except when he's not good guy Valak.
When I complimented him today, and he had no idea what to do.
Yep, no, you just completely disarmed him. You have to keep that one in the back pocket, buddy. It's a trump card right there.
Exactly.
Also,
contest.
We've got the contest. We've got the random to-do list. So the random to-do list giveaway and the competition itself. So the random to-do list is a randomly generated list of 25 achievements generated each month based on your True Achievements collection. So you can curate it roughly as much as you want. There are some limits. And basically, it's the whole idea is to give you a bit of a push in the right direction around if you don't know what to play, or you want to get competitive, or you need a bit of motivation. It's definitely helped me a lot with my cleaning up stuff and trying to decide what mountain to tackle next. It's good to have it broken down a bit into bite-sized pieces. But to encourage some people to get into the spirit, we also run a competition. So the whole idea is you have to earn one achievement on your random to-do list and answer a trivia question. And you go into the draw to win a game. So the game this month is Demon Tier Plus, and all you have to do is name another game that was published by Cowcat. Like I said last week, there is probably a couple of them on my tag if you're not sure, but there are some pretty easy ways of finding out. But if you do happen to know the answer to that and you've earned an achievement, if you send a message to random to-do list on TA or send it to Chen Doctor on TA or Discord, we'll get you in the draw, and then we'll draw that in the second week of next month.
For this month or next month?
For
the month
for next month, yes. Look, I don't know. Look, you get a prize or you don't get a prize. We'll tell you if you won or not. Just enter the damn competition, all right?
Yeah.
I'm not your mother. All right. Let's get into the news.
Yep. So, big event this week, yeah? Big, not for us, but like for...
Well, I mean, look, for everyone, there's been some quality memes. The router versus mini fridge discussion has been continuing.
See, now I'm confused yet. Now, are they meant to be the light side now and the dark side? Like...
I mean, look, just so we're talking about the PlayStation 5 here, but so they revealed what it looked like at an event and showed off a few games and that sort of stuff. We won't get too deep into it because it's not real. We're not the PlayStation podcast, but we would be remiss if we didn't touch on it because obviously it is a big thing that's going on at the moment.
Basically, the thing I got out of it was I don't know if we have a full Spider-Man game or half a Spider-Man game.
So from what I'm hearing is that it's built on the existing engine, but it is a quote unquote full Spider-Man game.
So Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, that's kind of that's almost the perfect example. Yeah. I mean, I hope it's not quite that bad. But yeah, like I think you're going to see a lot of reskins of existing enemies and a lot of same sort of mini games and collectibles and that sort of stuff.
As far as that, I saw the clip of the I'm assuming actor or whatever artist for it, whatever, and just going like, "Oh my god, that's me," reacting. But that's all I've seen.
It is pretty
other
cool.
than the trailer. But yeah.
Yeah, well, they didn't show off much. They basically just announced it that it's happening. That it's going to be called Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is cool. Someone did make the comment. I wonder how much he's going to be working with the cops, but that remains to be seen. Yeah. But again, that's not a launch title, so we don't know when that's coming out for the PlayStation. Unfortunately, it's Insomniac, who are now owned by Sony, so we're not going to be seeing that on.
Which is
the
unfortunate.
Xbox consoles anytime soon.
I was really looking for Sunset Overdrive 2.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually going to need to go back and finish the first one. It's on the to-do list.
One of my favorites of this generation, but yeah.
So we got to look at the console. It does look a bit like a router. It's got really white sides and a black middle bit.
I see a few people got their early copies on Twitter.
Yep. I saw someone had someone said they got a brand new one, and I noticed. Well, it looked more used to me because it was actually a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3 taped together.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Which I suppose the math works out on that. PlayStation 5, just it all adds up. Can't really do that with the 360.
Yeah,
anyway,
I mean, look, I'm not going to be sitting there all day cutting a 360 into 360 parts.
Yeah, it's true. No,
and then writing a Series X on it.
Series X. Tape it all up. Yeah. I don't know. It's... Yeah, I mean, I think the console looks ridiculous, but whatever. Actually, I did see one that was like all black, like the and it had like the blue font, like the old PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Looked really good.
To me, it's just so... My biggest thing with the Series X is that, like, I've said it before, it looks like a canvas. Like, it's just a straight black box that you could... You as a creator could just put a wrap around or something like that if you wanted to make it your own.
Yeah, I mean, that is where the mini fridge jokes have been coming around.
Whereas
it does look like a monolith, like... Yeah. Whereas there's not a lot to it.
Yeah, PS5, it's just like the size comparisons of it. What is it, like 1.5 Xbox One X?
Yeah, it's quite big.
Something like that. Yeah. To me, like in the normal household, like where would you fit that?
I mean, you can lie it down, so like I think it'll fit under most people's coffee tables or wherever you normally keep your consoles. I mean, airflow is always going to be the problem, but that's always the problem with all consoles. It's just like I mean, the consoles in it were never small. Like the GameCube was about the smallest they got.
Yeah, but then even then you could just carry it around with you, so it was fine.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you could have one in each hand and just swing them around like a martial artist. Lethal weapons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what did you think? I mean, did you watch the
Look, I didn't watch the
announcement?
event, but like I saw a lot of the stuff after. The only thing that really caught my eye was like Spider-Man, and then just all the controversy around it being like, is it a full game or is it a that? And then every other, I guess, gaming news site saying like, this is confusing or this isn't confusing. It was it was such a mixed message, and I'm like, cool. They're just getting they're capitalizing into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, and like Miles was in the original game, so it's not like
Oh, was he in the? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, like not anyway. Yeah, but it like minor, but yeah.
Okay. Still,
I don't know.
It's like still got a few interesting titles. And then I think the other thing around it was there was a few cross-platform games that they were just doing PS5 exclusive over.
Yeah, well, a lot of them they have marketing deals for and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, which I thought it would have come down to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if you look at things like that's always been the case. I mean, like Microsoft have the exclusive advertising rights with Assassin's Creed, for example, Elden Ring. There's a few things here and there, things that'll be cross-platform that they just have the exclusive rights for, saying that it's going to be first on console or timed exclusives. So I'm thinking we're going to see a lot more of the timed exclusive stuff like we did last time.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a bunch of games I talked about. Resident Evil Village, which is Resident Evil 8. That's going to be cross-platform,
which won't be coming to Xbox One as well, I believe.
No, I don't think so, because it doesn't come out till 2021. So it's still a little bit away. So it's not going to be a launch or holiday stuff. So it might, if it's towards the tail end of next year, then it might be a next gen only.
Yeah, which is
game.
Interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how long they've been working on it. We did hear rumors about it having witches and werewolves and stuff, and that all seems to be true.
Yeah.
There's also going to be Hitman 3. I mean, look, it looks good. Like, Hitman's great. I just don't have the time to play Hitman, because Hitman requires quite a bit of an investment from an achievement perspective.
Yeah.
I did Hitman 1, and then Hitman 2 has all the Hitman 1 levels in it again.
Look,
so essentially we're going to replay the whole game.
It's in my backlog. I'm pretty sure I picked up the expansion pass when it was on sale last week or the week before.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just going to be one of those backlog games that eventually, when I have time, I'll get around to play it for fun. Play it for that weird thing we call fun when we have time.
Yeah, well. And then there's also Pragmata, which is some weird Capcom thing they've been working on for ages, apparently. It's got something to do with the moon. There's some weird robots in it, like weird robot girl. But it's not coming until like 2022. So,
okay, so
who knows what... Yeah, don't hold your breath. Like, who knows? And then, of course, GTA 5, the hot new release. This is what they opened the show with, saying, hey, GTA 5 is going to be on the next-gen consoles.
I love the fact, that GTA 5 will now have spanned 3 console generations over 8 years.
Yeah.
Whereas in the trilogy before it covered 7. It is the best-selling video game of all time, but...
it's not the best-selling, but it is the most lucrative media property, because it's made so much money on microtransactions and other stuff. But yes, it is. Yeah. They have made the most money of anything.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. Yeah. I mean, like, if they had opened though with GTA 6 though, how?
Oh yeah, well that would have been done. Yeah, and if they said, oh, it's going to be exclusive on the PlayStation for a year,
it would have been like
Xbox is done.
That's it.
Xbox is just closed down. Yeah, absolutely done.
But I mean, sell it as GTA 5, and it's like,
yeah.
Wait, isn't this the same game I played 2 generations ago on the 360?
And again on the Xbox One as well, because they re-released it. Like, they just keep re-releasing it. What are they? I mean, I know what they're doing. They're just printing money. But yeah, no, not interested. I mean, don't care. It's the worst.
For as long as it does make money. Horizon getting the sequel as well.
Yep, that looks really good.
Trying to think what else.
There's Control is also going to be on. They're also going to do a port. But they haven't said anything about it. But they have confirmed that it's going to be on PlayStation 5 and Series X. And there's also talk about Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. They're going to be debuting exclusively on the PlayStation, But chances are it'll almost certainly come to the Xbox at some stage, which is good because those are Bethesda games and I'm quite interested in them. Ghostwire looks really, really good. Like, it was not at all what I was expecting.
I haven't really looked into it that much, but
I would say, yeah, if you guys haven't seen the trailer for it, it looks weird in a way that you don't see mostly. Like, it's like first-person game as well, which is not what I was expecting. Tango Gameworks, I think, are the ones who did Evil Within. So they know how to mess with people. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And then Deathloop is done by Arcane, who did Dishonored. So it's very similar to that style of game, but with some interesting time travel mechanic stuff, which they touched on a little bit in one of the old Dishonored. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays into it. Waiting for some more details. But yeah, there's quite a bit on offer.
And Ratchet and Clank was the other thing I forgot to mention.
Yes, Ratchet and Clank looks incredible. I mean, like, in terms of like particles. Like, it was a really good showcase of them showing, like, hey, this is what happens when you rip a bunch of stuff up from a game, from, like, it's a long-running series. Like, I played Ratchet and Clank back on the original, back on PlayStation 2 back in the day.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that one's been doing the test of time. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like, again, probably won't get a chance to play it, but I think it'll be a good, it'll be good to see where they go with it. And I think it'll be a good test case for how the PlayStation handles, those kinds of games and like what the improvements are.
I think it's a safe bet too with Ratchet and Clank also being like that kiddie friendly kind of game. I feel like a lot of the other games they have are a bit more mature now.
Sure, less cartoony. Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and I guess the other interesting thing was that they announced that they're going to have a digital only version as well. At launch. Now,
the disc tray on this one, to me, looks god awful.
It does. It looks horrific. Yeah. The discless version looks a lot better.
To me, like, whereas in the difference between a Series X and a Series X digital edition is just like, cool, you got a box with a slot or you got a box, and that's pretty much it. Whereas in this,
design-wise, yeah. I mean, it does make it a little uneven. But, I mean, if you have it lying down, I don't think it really matters too much. But I don't know, like, it's interesting to see that they're willing to say, hey, we're going to do split SKUs from the beginning. Because, we've had talk in the past about Lockhart and them, Xbox potentially doing something similar. But when they showed off the Series X, they didn't announce anything like that. That's not to say they won't do it, but the thinking was that, well, there's not much point in potentially muddying the message, because Microsoft's marketing for the most part has been pretty good in terms of what the Series X does, what you get for it, what it looks like, like how the smart delivery stuff works, all these things.
Yeah, this is purely speculation from my side, but I reckon, considering the launch of the S or digital console, and it's not underperforming, but really not, like, launching higher price point than what we thought even on the podcast, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I honestly didn't think they pushed it that hard. I think
it was old technology, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
I think if that was anything to go from, like, Microsoft would be more cautious doing a digital only console going to next gen when you could just run it off the one SKU.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think what it's going to come down to, though, really, is the price difference between, on the PlayStation, the disc version and the non-disc version, right? Because if the difference is $50, then Microsoft would just be like, no, just keep the disc drive, like, whatever, we'll just whatever. But if the difference is like $100, then it might be like, okay, well, then maybe Microsoft might have to compete, because if this is something that I've talked about with Kirby around if PlayStation comes out with their full version at $599, and then comes out with their discless version for $499, and say you can get a PlayStation 5 right now today for $499, that's what you put on all the marketing material. Like, Xbox is going to be hard to compete with that, because if you only have one SKU, you've only got one price you can talk about. And sure, you put the asterisks on the end, and you say, only available for the discless version, etc., etc. But
and then the discless version sells out, and because they have underproduced, and people just go, all right, get the more expensive.
the upsell is real easy too. You know, like it's like, hey, you know, it's an extra $100, you get all your discs, and you know, EB Games there's a pack-in deal with it with a you know a copy of
NBA 2K21.
2K1 or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just say, hey, you know, you get the disc version, and we pack in the disc with it. You go, yeah, absolutely, of course I want that. It's just $100 more. Yeah, might as well. Like I'd pay that on the game anyway or whatever. So. Yeah, like it, I think it's probably a pretty savvy move from PlayStation, but I really want to. Again, we're all about waiting on that Mexican standoff around price, right? No one's talking about how much it's going to cost.
There's so much speculation at the moment too, like going for the news, and it's just so frustrating. Like them just, it's just news articles for the sake of having news article. Like,
well, yeah, but when is the last possible moment they could announce the price? Like realistically,
I believe Microsoft. It would be very stupid of them not to launch November. Is it November 5th?
Yeah, they usually yeah. I think it was early November is usually the Xbox launch time for historically. Yeah,
let's say that point there. I would say that a decent marketing campaign would at least run 8 to 12 week lead in.
Yeah, I would say 8. Yeah, 8 minimum. I would say 12 is probably closer because the thing is, you got to remember they want to get pre-orders in so they can get an idea of the number of units they need to produce and where they need to send them.
Only reason I say 8 is because I mean, like this year's just been thrown upside down with COVID and everything. I mean, I would not be surprised if they're really playing it to the very last cards. I think the very last minute thing would be 8 weeks, but before that, 12 weeks.
Well, if we think about it, okay, so Microsoft have got their 2020 vision. Was it their stupid thing they were doing? Like their
the monthly, the monthly thing.
Yeah, monthly thing with their 2020 pun on seeing in the future. Anyway, so they're doing that, and so they said that July they're going to be talking about Halo and like first party stuff. August they talk about third parties. Yeah. So do we see September?
I honestly think it would be mid to late August.
You think? Yeah. I think you're probably right. I'm just my worry is that if they said they're going to be doing one of these a month up until the launch, and if the launch is in November, they're going to need to have something to talk about each month. And like we saw what happened last month. Well, yeah, we saw what happened previously, right? Like it did not go well for them.
And that's because they weren't managing. They were building hype around something that really they didn't manage expectations well on.
Exactly. So I would say I think we might get an early September price point because the thing is again that might all change if PlayStation comes out with their one in August, right? These things are all subject to whatever the competition's doing. But I think their plan is probably to say, hey, we probably want to have a price announcement, end of August, beginning of September. So you have September, October, and then November, then launch.
Yeah. It'll be very... Like, what are you thinking? Like 500 US?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm thinking 599. It's a powerful machine.
For PlayStation? Or,
For both. Okay. I'm going to say for both. I think they're both going to have to come out at 599 for their full SKU.
Yeah, I was going to say digital. I would imagine would, if they really wanted to give Microsoft a run, yes,
it'll be 100.
If they,
but it'll probably be 50.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I would say 549 for the digital for PS5, sorry, and $599, and then Series X, I would say $599.
Yeah, I mean, Xbox is almost never cheaper, right? Like, that's at the end of the day. I mean, like, the only time that happened was with the 360. The Xbox One, they were blown out of the water because they had the Kinect stuff. I mean, at least we don't have any of that faff.
Which was, basically a $100 peripheral add-on.
Yeah, pretty much. As soon as they dropped that, they dropped the price. So we'll be interested to see how that goes. But I think that, I think we're probably looking at a $599. I think we need to brace ourselves for that because that is quite pricey.
Yeah.
That comes out to basically $1,000.
Yeah. Which, that's why I'm, very on the fence about getting the Cyberpunk console. It's like, probably just going to upgrade anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they were smart, they'd do a Cyberpunk version of the Series X as well, which they probably will because they do have that marketing stuff with.
I mean, look, if they did that...
Yeah, although they did say that the Xbox One version will not be available. Sorry, the Series X version will not be available at launch for the series. So essentially, they'll have a whole second release of the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm sure they'll pack in some extra smart. Yeah, exactly. And they're putting some extra stuff, and people who didn't buy it the first time can get into it. And they'll probably time it with some of the DLC. Who knows?
Yeah. Going back to the conversation around the 2020 events, saw a very interesting post that kind of ties into this from I can never pronounce it right. Is it Clobrill or?
I think so. Clobrill.
Yeah.
Clobrill.
So he put a post up on Twitter that was basically just in response to a website talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla running minimum 30 FPS on Xbox Series X, and it was just about 20 to 30 pages of, doom and gloom. If it can't run on min 60 FPS, it's not worth it. It's not worth the time. Basically, a week later, the PS5 exclusives get announced with the majority running at 30 FPS, and nobody's shaking their head. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean, have we got confirmation that they're running at 30? I mean, I know that the stream itself is 1080 30, and that it was pre-recorded, but that might be some technical constraints. But I don't know if we've actually had confirmation about what frame rates most of the stuff's running at. I will always assume they run at 30, right?
Yeah, there's been no confirmations, but there's been nobody from Ubisoft saying otherwise too.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, realistically, most games run at 30.
Yeah,
and most people, honestly, most people don't care. I mean, they're wrong, but they don't care. I mean, I still remember back in the day when because Insomniac's games all used to run at 60. All their Ratchet and Clanks run at 60 frames, which is why whenever I looked at them, they looked really weird. Because I just didn't understand how frame rates worked when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But eventually they got to the stage, and I think this was around. Remember they brought out that game Fuse? It was originally called Overstrike or something. It was originally super cartoony and a very very much like Overwatch actually. And then it got gunmetal grade and super serious to this game called this third person cover shooter called Fuse. That was all serious stuff, and it was just terrible. I still need to finish it. Actually, I've got a few achievements left in it.
I'm trying to.
It's super generic. It's super generic. Anyway, it was around that time they started saying that they decided to just not do the 60 frames per second anymore because not enough people care about it.
Mm.
And the people who do are all in a PC master race anyway. And in that case, you can up it to 60. It doesn't matter. You can crank it.
Mm.
But on a PlayStation or on an Xbox, most people don't care. I mean, look, I think every game should run at 60. It should run it at 1080 60. I don't care about 4K. I don't really care if it looks that much better. I just want it to run better.
So I've been running 1080 monitors since how long have I had these? Since before I moved. I want to say probably 5-6 years, and to me the quality is just as good as I'm not going to go out and just buy a 4K TV for the sake of it.
No, exactly. I'm in the same situation. I've got a 62-inch sitting in my room here, and it's perfectly fine. It's a 1080 one that I got for a really good deal. I've been tempted to go to 4K, but the only reason I would upgrade TV is to get a bigger TV, not because of the 4K. I don't care that much. If we want to talk about refresh rates and all that stuff, I don't want to get bogged down in that because this is not the podcast for that. But look, I think so Clobrill put in some tips in there about what they think they can do better for July, right?
Which to me, they were great ideas too. Especially for a marketing kind of point of view.
Yeah, I mean, look, so they offer a 4K stream, maybe in 60 FPS with a higher bit rate. Yes, I would agree with that, but I think that this is not again, PlayStation put theirs in 1080 30 not because they wanted to, but because look, with COVID and people working from home and the situation in the States, and even having an event is pretty hard to put together, right? So I just think that like hey, it would be good to have, but I think that that's maybe missing the point a little bit around like where we're at as a society.
Yeah.
As the where our focus should be. Show more gameplay, that's obvious, but again, you can only show off gameplay that if you're doing third party stuff, you only can show off what they give you.
Yeah.
Give your first party releases more time. Agreed, they have said that is what they're going to do.
This is the one thing that I feel like the expectations were poorly mismanaged on it, because everybody probably went into that first one thinking, all right, I'm going to see the next Halo. I'm going to see...
Yeah, of course. I'm going to see a new Forza, going to see, whatever it is they're going to come out with. Like Microsoft have bought so many studios over the last 3 or 4 years that, we should start seeing these games, and that's what people are looking for, is this first-party stuff.
Even if it was something like what Bethesda do and show off Elder Scrolls 6.
I still hate that.
It's such a bait and switch, but then at least it's still like we have an idea of what's getting...
I guess so, but the thing is that the problem is then you run into a situation like Criterion had. I don't know if you remember this, but Criterion announced a game at E3 several years back now, where it was like you drove around like ATVs and like helicopters and stuff and did like stunts, and like it was basically like I think like a skateboarding game except with like vehicles, like a playground.
Okay, so Stuntman Ignition.
Yeah, but like not. I don't think it wasn't like structured. Like it was just like it was more like do like tricks and stuff, or like do like challenges and things. But yeah, like similar to Stuntman, but like with variety of vehicles, like ATVs and like fast cars and helicopters, and do like flips and stuff. So they showed that game off. They said it was an early thing, that they like it was way early. They were still working on it. Like it still had wireframes and stuff when they showed it off. Never heard of that game again. Got cancelled. Didn't work out for them.
Yeah. And
I think that's what people need to remember, is that if you announce a game, people are going to be asking you where it is for the next 100 years. Yep. And so like people are going to be asking you get away from people saying, oh, hey, are you making Elder Scrolls 6? You say, yes, we're making Elder Scrolls 6. Here's a logo. We're making Elder Scrolls. We're confirming that we're obviously doing this thing that you already knew that we were definitely doing. But then it becomes every year is, well, where's Elder Scrolls 6? You said you guys were making it. Where is it?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, again, you really potentially hamstring yourself. I mean, like, look at Halo Infinite. Like, how long ago was that announced? Like that was supposed to be, that was, what, like 4 years ago now? They've been working on it?
Was Halo Infinite really announced 4 years ago?
It was a long time ago. Hang on. I'm going to look it up.
Because the earliest memory I have of it was E3 last year.
Oh, no way. No. It was, so they announced it in 2018.
Okay.
And they've been working on it since 2 years ago. But they've been working on it since before then, obviously, because they haven't had a new Halo since Halo 5.
Well, the latest article I saw was like they've been working on it for 5 years. And it's been pretty tight-lipped about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's some of the thing, is that like if you talk about something too early, and you run into trouble with either funding or it isn't working out the way you want it to, or it's going to take longer. Like, this is why I'm a big fan of just saying, hey, we're announcing this game. It comes out at the end of the year.
Yeah, like Fallout 76.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, not the best example.
But you get what I'm saying, though, yeah? You can't... on the flip side, you can't announce your game too late. Or you can't...
Well, I mean, you can. I mean, I just don't think it matters. I don't know.
I'll agree with the point that announcing earlier is much more damaging than announcing too late, but I think there is that sweet time of marketing and that, and building
sure. I mean, look, I mean, there's only so many times you can go out and say, and it's out today, like that works for smaller titles. Like, obviously you need to have a marketing campaign and stuff like that. Like, we've talked about this in the past with the Sega Saturn. But
love that story.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I don't know. Like, I think Microsoft would be really well off just coming out and saying, hey, these are things that are coming out this year, and things that are coming out this financial year even.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know half the stuff that doesn't make it to November gets pushed out to March anyway.
Yeah. It's usually always case, just like, next quarter.
Yeah, and that's kind of the other points on this thing is, give your first-party releases more time, which I think is fair, but that is what they're planning on doing, apparently, for next month. Announce games that are further out, I just don't think that that's the way to do it. I think that you just drive, like, again, it's good. It's good to wet the whistle, and it's good to get people interested. But I think the problem, what it ties back into the third one about first parties. Microsoft don't have enough first party stuff, and the only time you can announce something and leave it for a while is if it's first party, because if it's third party, you're pretty much only going to get allowed to announce it shortly before it comes out, because it's going to come out on other systems, which means you don't have that tight timeline where you can say, oh, we can put Halo Infinite, 343 can work on Halo Infinite for 5 years and it's not a big deal. But can you imagine if the Assassin's Creed studio was like, oh yeah, we're just going to announce we're going to announce Assassin's Creed Ninjas. It's coming out in like 5 years. What consoles? We don't even know. It's fine. Like that there's no way that would fly. They're gonna have to come. They're gonna have to really come with some big first party stuff, some exclusive stuff, because I think that's where we're at again. Is that again we're going to have another launch where the consoles are going to be very similar. Price is going to dictate a lot of it,
and we're not going to have the right first parties to push
exactly, because it's like it's first thing is price, second thing is exclusives. And then third thing is services, which is bad for Microsoft because services is what they do best. So like either their services really need to up their game and like have a massive value proposition, which is what they're trying to do with
which Game Pass does have though.
Exactly, Game Pass, smart delivery, all that sort of stuff. They're really trying to push that, but I think the problem they're gonna run into is that again it all comes back to the games. If you can't beat them on price, you got to beat them on games. And if Sony can beat them on price and games, then Microsoft is in for for another rough 7 to 10 years.
To which is why I think though, like I'm not sure how it works in New Zealand, but like Telstra here has the Xbox All Access package to try and get into that price point as well.
Yeah, which I think is good. Yeah,
but the exclusives bit is the bit that's always. We always question,
Microsoft's trying to get games into people's hands as much as possible, and I think they're doing a really good job of it. But yeah, if they don't have anything people want to play,
then that's an issue. I like the fact that he also points out though that create that one memorable "this is next gen" moment. His example is an impressive Halo Infinite in-game campaign demo that can be exactly that. I'm trying to think what my Xbox One next gen moment was.
Yeah, and I think that was going to be my next... Exactly what I was thinking too, is that I don't really think those exist anymore. Like, if we're talking about going... if we go into the Wayback Machine, looking at...
The time machine?
Yeah, going to PlayStation 1, for example, was my first console. Crash Bandicoot was the first game I ever played.
Yep.
Going from 2D side-scrollers with sprites to the sort of 3D stuff with like Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is the next-gen moment for PlayStation, right?
Yeah,
they shot off their like amazing cutscenes of things you'd never seen on a game console be able to do before. Had really, really cool gameplay, story. Like it was a big... Like the JRPGs had really taken off in the West in a way that they hadn't in the past. Not to say that they weren't on the, Final Fantasy VI and stuff were still very popular on the SNES, but like this was a whole different level.
One breakthrough, like this is next level moment,
yeah, and so I would say probably the next one for PlayStation 2, I would say is probably GTA 3.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be one of the GTA titles.
Yeah, I would say GTA 3 because that basically I think it was a launch title or close to it. Like that was something that we'd never seen before, in terms of like the Grand Theft Auto games originally were, top down, kind of like really spritey and like not that didn't control well, and this was like a whole 3D world you could explore and shoot people, and oh god, it was ridiculous. Like it was like nothing you'd ever seen before. And then then you moved into like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, and that's when you got into like HD, and that was the big jump there. Is that we went from you went into widescreen, you had 720 and then 1080. Things still running at 30, but
yeah, I'm thinking for that Halo 3 would have been my one there.
Yep, I would agree. Either Halo 3 or Gears of War, I think would probably be the two that like the Gears looked incredible, and I mean, and actually like again, Bungie does the best skyboxes, right? Like there's parts in Halo 3 where you just look out onto what's happening in the background, and it's some of the most incredible things you've ever seen. I mean, obviously it's very dated now. We're talking about 2007, but I just thinking, the Xbox One, like, there's only so much more you can get out of it.
Like, to me, the two biggest standout games to me this console generation were Titanfall 1 and Sunset Overdrive. And to me, that was all about mobility, like games that actually made me feel like, just the flow. Flow is probably the best word because everything just seemed seamless, and wall jumps, that kind of stuff in either of those games was just amazing. It wasn't about a graphical upgrade, but in terms of a gaming upgrade, I felt like I could just do so much more as a player.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the thing, is that, like, because again, the previous examples that I put in there are talking about graphics, talking about visuals. Whereas I think the narrative has been pushed more towards, well, look, things can always look better, but, like, again, it becomes harder and harder to notice as we go forward.
That's exactly it.
There's only so many triangles you can put on the screen at once. So I think that, this is why the narrative has been pushed to things like the load speeds for the SSDs. Both PlayStation and Xbox have been talking about that as their big thing around, okay, well, things look good, they play well, like, if we want to keep the frame rates up, but we also want it to not have to load, to be seamless, like you've talked about. And that's really the big thing they've pushed. So, and I think that's really hard to show on a stream, because a lot of that is feeling and actually playing the game itself. Yeah. Although, I think PlayStation knocked it out of the park with their Spider-Man demo. Because Spider-Man was a really, really widely played game on the PlayStation 4. And they said, we re-rigged it for the PlayStation 5. Here's us swinging through the cities with no load screens whatsoever. And it was something you could put side by side and say, here's the old version, here's the new version, and here's what's different. And I just don't know if Microsoft can bring the goods on that.
I think the only thing Microsoft could do to, I guess, improve on that experience is to do that quick resume feature and, just have somebody playing something like even Gears 5 and, say I was playing Gears 5, you joined the party and said, hey, do you want to help me bust out Resident Evil 5 co-op right now? It's like, all right,
and you
cool.
just
Switch over, play a level with you. Cool, go back to Gears exactly where I was.
Yeah, and then also just put that next to how long it would take to load those games up on the old console, basically, and then that's it. You've done, like, that's your marketing talk right there. Just show the speed of the Xbox. I
feel like quick resume, like, sure, we've had the tech demo kind of stuff inside inside Xbox kind of stuff, but that's as much as it's gone. They really should be putting that, like, marketing that better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it should be a front and center feature, basically.
Yeah,
because it is something, and they've got a good marketing name for it. Quick resume rolls off the tongue. You remembered it straight away. Like, as we every week we know these terms. Quick resume, smart delivery, xCloud streaming, like all this stuff that they have a lot that they can talk about.
To me, though, it's just primarily just getting it to the masses, getting it to the people that How are you going to put this in a 45-second ad?
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be on normal TV. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've beaten that dead horse. So let's move on to our next news story here. Apparently, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment is up for sale.
Yep. So AT&T, which I'm sure all our American fans is just their favorite. What's the word I'm looking for?
Carrier.
Telecarrier. I'm sure everybody just loves them. Probably our version of Telstra, or your version of, I don't know what your favorite is.
Yeah,
favorite loosely.
It's a toss up between Spark and Vodafone. They're just as bad as each other.
Okay, so they got a huge debt at the moment of $200 billion.
Whew,
and
$200 billion.
Yep. So they're looking to sell their gaming division, their Warner Brothers gaming division, for about $4 billion to pay off part of it.
Oh boy, $4 billion. Who would actually spend $4 billion on Warner Bros? Like, what do they have?
So there's a few different. They own a few different studios. So they own TT Games, which is responsible for your Lego series.
Oh god, yeah, those moneymakers.
Yep. Rocksteady, which is responsible for your Batman Arkham series.
They haven't put out. Well, I'll be interested to see what they've been doing because they haven't put out a new game since Arkham Knight, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, it's been a while. NetherRealm, which is Mortal Kombat series, and FIFSA, which is Scribblenauts.
Oh yeah, okay.
To me, like NetherRealm would, say, speculate. Who would want to pick this up? Other than just saying Microsoft.
No, okay, yeah. Like, I don't think... Look, Sony's probably not going to have the cash for it.
Yep.
Because they've already spent quite a bit picking up, Naughty Dog and Insomniac and bringing some of their second parties into the fold.
Yep.
Microsoft, maybe, but... I could see it. Like,
it'd be interesting, yeah? Just say, like, Mortal Kombat is now a Microsoft exclusive.
Woof, that would be interesting for sure.
Especially, just like, hey, you want your fighting games? We've got Killer Instinct, we've got Mortal Kombat.
I mean, like that Mortal Kombat would... I'm going to say, NetherRealm would actually round out Microsoft's portfolio quite nicely in terms of fighting games, because, especially now that all of them are cross-gen. I mean, look, again, just because something is a Microsoft studio doesn't mean it doesn't become... doesn't get released elsewhere. It's just up to Microsoft at that point, around how much money they want to make. Yeah, I mean, I could say Microsoft, but I think it'd be more likely to be like I wouldn't be surprised if NetherRealm got picked up by like Capcom or like one of the like Sega maybe or something along those lines, where one of those sort of other companies that are potentially involved in fighting games and that sort of stuff. Well, that area. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again,
I'm trying to fit
I don't like. I think this might more go the way of THQ, and it'll get ripped up.
Yeah, like I feel like I need to consult my Mortal Kombat expert here, but my girlfriend's in the other room.
Yeah, well,
she knows way too much about Mortal Kombat, but I'm just trying to think of how it would fit in differently with different portfolios. Like if it was a Ubisoft title, if it was an EA.
It wouldn't. I don't think it would work for Ubisoft. They play this stuff way too close to the chest. They like having complete control of stuff, and they have their moneymakers already. Like I don't think they're in a position to do that stuff. I think actually EA might be the best off for it, because if you think about it, EA doesn't really have a lot going for them at the moment, and it's been a while since they've bought a studio and killed it.
What are they? So I just like how you just say that. Just like bought a studio and killed it. Just ripped it to shreds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like they bought Respawn. That's still ticking along, but like it would not surprise me if EA was like, I'm just going to buy it. Like Lego would probably fit in with EA's strategy pretty well. Like EA doesn't have a lot in their portfolio at the moment outside of sports. Like if you think about it, like what's EA putting out this year?
I mean, when I think of EA, I think of sports titles. I think of Need for Speed.
Yep.
Just
that's a sports title.
Basically, just look, I'm racing.
It's pretty close, but
I bought one. I'm not going to get into that discussion. We'll be here all day. PopCap, so your Peggle and that kind of stuff.
Plants vs Zombies. Although PopCap has basically been gutted, there's not that much left of them.
Yeah, I feel like we won't get another decent Plants vs Zombies FPS anytime soon.
No, probably not.
Yeah, I think that was done well once, and then the sequels are just I'm trying to think what else. Like, there's the smaller titles like A Way Out and that kind of stuff that they're dealing with smaller developers. Yeah, I'm trying to think who develops A Way Out, because I know they've got a game that I think they're showcasing next week. Yeah,
but I mean, but again, if they were going to acquire stuff like that, they're looking for tentpole releases. They're looking for big marquee stuff. And if you think about it, like if you cut out the sports and you have Need for Speed, which is just about annual, so that you take out like FIFAs and NHL and UFC will probably have a new one of those, and Maddens and all that. So you're left with Need for Speed. You're left with Star Wars.
Yep.
So Respawn are already working on a new Fallen Order sequel.
Yep. Who's working on Squadron? Because I've seen
Motive are working on that.
That's still under EA though, yeah?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's still the license, yeah. But it is, yes. EA Motive are working on that one. which looks interesting. But it looks like it's built on the same engine as Battlefront.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell. Again, we only saw a trailer for it. They're going to have a gameplay reveal later this week.
Purely speculation, yep.
Yeah, so I think that... And the other talk is that they're going to release... it's like, yeah, again, they have the Command & Conquer license. They did a remaster of that. But, like, apparently they're going to re-release... The talk is they're going to re-release do a Mass Effect trilogy this year. Yeah. Because it seems they don't have a lot to do. So I think EA is probably the ones who in a good position to say, hey, we actually need, a fighting game would probably work well into their roster. Yeah. And so would the Lego series, because that's a pretty decent moneymaker, and they don't have to spend too much on making it because there's an engine built for it already.
To me, the big issue with the Lego games would purely be working around IPs.
Yes, which is always the issue.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they are moneymakers, so...
Yeah. But I mean, like EA already has the Star Wars license, so like it wouldn't surprise me. Like I think that probably fits in relatively well. Whether they get Rocksteady as well. Again, I guess it depends on what Rocksteady's been working on. If they have a big new project, I mean, it would make sense if they did. Fifth Cell, I don't know if anyone's going to buy Fifth Cell, to be honest. I don't know how well Scribblenauts does anymore, which is a shame because I like Fifth Cell. Like Lock's Quest was a really good game back in the day.
They're lovely games, but how well does Scribblenauts? Yeah, so that's the question.
Yeah,
to me, it just seems like one of those kind of games that, is not a big money maker, but a break-even kind of title.
Yeah, so I think it'll probably get like THQ, where it'll probably get ripped up and bits of it will get bought off by different people.
Yeah.
Ooh, but $200 billion in debt—that's pretty rough.
But yeah, they talked about too that any sale of it would not necessarily give rights to IPs like Batman and Harry Potter. So, like, it makes perfect sense them picking up something like EA picking up something like TT Games, but yeah. But instead, the talk is instead with the IPs there would be a commercial licensing agreement to ensure AT&T continues to earn revenue off those titles.
Which makes sense, because that's the only reason they would sell them, if they can actually pay off some of their debt with it going onwards.
But yeah, anything else to add to that?
Not really. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens, but again, these deals don't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Or, if they do, someone has desperately needed some cash, so we'll see. Well, so maybe someone fell into some stimulus checks.
I mean, look, I would do 200 divided by 4, but I'm not Kirby. I'm not going to give you that. We're not going to...
Maths is just too quick for you.
But yeah.
Alright, what's this last news story we got here?
Alright, so we've got some mod support on Windows 10.
Oh, so we've got another Surviving Mars?
I'm hoping that it comes to City Skylines. Sorry, I mean, what? Those people are dirty, filthy cheaters. What are you on about, Matt?
No, yeah, look, I take my Gamerscore where I can get it, okay? We will, as you'll see.
So, basically with this is, a select number of games do have support mods now for the Xbox Beta app on Windows 10. Update was rolled out, I want to say, nearly a week ago. It's basically just several performance improvements, but just allows users to mod their games as well. So far, there's been 6 titles that have been found to have mod support on the app. State of Decay 2, the Juggernaut Edition, Dirt Rally 2.0, Farming Simulator 17, FTL Fast and Light, Into the Breach, and Mud Runner. So yeah, just adding extra community developed content. I don't know if this would affect any of those achievements going forward. Like it would be honestly lovely if somebody could make a State of Decay 2 mod.
That would be nice.
That so campaign kind of stuff. It's look, I played it. It's a decent game. 4 playthroughs though. I think Mac has a guide to get around it, but it's just
there's a lot of game there.
Yeah. Decent, but not for everybody.
Yeah, I'm hoping the mod support stuff keeps going forward, because that was one of the big issues that we had with Windows 10, with their new, it was a UWP format or whatever it was that essentially mod support was going out the window.
Wasn't there talk at E3 years ago too, like stuff want to say like Fallout 4 having mod support, that kind of stuff on the console.
Yeah, there was like their whole Bethesda shop thing, paid mods and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
and it kind of just fell into the background quite a bit.
Kind of, because people thought it was a terrible idea. I mean, like you did get some mods for like Skyrim and stuff, but yeah, it didn't really catch on the consoles, which I'm not surprised because it's a closed ecosystem, you know.
You say Skyrim mods, yeah, and immediately just think of Video Game Donkey.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the mod, I mean, the mod that everyone needs is the Macho Man Randy Savage one.
Yeah,
where he's just Macho Man all the dragons just Macho Man just going Macho.
Yep. Nope. But yeah, I think the main gist of this article is mods should only be there to get us achievements, and that's pretty much it. Do you disagree?
100% agree.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the news, other than I want to say PS5 is probably the biggest thing this week, but in terms of Xbox, there's not really much floating around.
We shall see how the weeks go.
Pretty much that's the news for the week. In terms of what we've been playing, I may as well go first, so, seeing it's just us two around. I haven't really played much. It's been a very quiet week for me. It's basically just started going crazy at work because of end of financial year sales, and I'm just finding it very hard to fit in gaming time. But the free titles that I have managed to play for this week are... We did some Dead Island Riptide with our good friends Brad and Kirby.
I think you mean good friend Kirby.
And also sorry, Brad. Yeah,
also, and sorry. Also Brad was there.
Yeah, sorry. Our,
man.
You know what? I said I was going to be nice this week, yeah? Brad's been okay. He's been tolerable.
No, that was good. We had a really good time.
Yeah. I honestly, I think this is the first session in ages where I'm being like, at the very end of it, everybody's calling it quits, and I'm like, you know what? I could actually go further. And I was very surprised at that.
Yeah, I think part of it was that we finally got to the part of the game where our levels sort of scaled with... The enemy stopped being super overpowered and we actually got some decent weapons. But for those who don't know, we played through the original Dead Island together and brought our characters over, so they were all level 50s or close to it.
And then we got wrecked.
Yeah, we got completely wrecked because all the weapons you get, all the enemies scale with you, but the weapons you get don't really. They scale in terms of level, but they don't really scale in terms of damage, or you don't get access to the mods you had and like all the special stuff that you'd like. So until we've finally gotten to the point now where we're getting last sort of third of the game, where we finally got some good weapons, enemies are going down in 2 hits instead of 20. Knives aren't always exploding when they're getting thrown. It's yeah. I actually had quite a bit of fun, and we earned a couple of achievements, and we actually making some progress.
It's unfortunate when you throw knives so often that people decide to steal them from you, so they don't get thrown anymore.
I think if you mess around with your toys too much, they get taken away from you.
Just confiscated. But I think it's gotten to a point though where I'm actually, I wouldn't say enjoying. Like there's still very lack of a story and all that. Maybe
it's still a terrible game. Like yeah. I don't know what Brad was thinking.
It's tolerable now, just like Brad. In small doses, we can get through. But yeah, hopefully it's only a few more weeks and we can get the majority of stuff done. Moving on, did most of Supermarket Streak before it left Game Pass. The only thing I missed out at the very end was getting the 3 stars. But I came back from visiting my daughter on the weekend and like I basically just sat there talking to Aftos in the party for an hour and I just went, I'll try my very best. I'll get the Coliseum level done at the very end. I decided to stream it for an hour. From the moment I started streaming to the moment I got it done, I think it was 55 minutes in, which I think was really good for what's meant to be the hardest level in that game.
Really?
But yeah. Have you played Supermarket Streak?
I took one look at it and it was like, nope, not fall into that trap. Nope, I have been baited too many times before by video games. I'm not. Nope, absolutely not.
See, Aftos' reasoning for it was just like, you're good at racing games, yeah? You should be able to smash it out. I'm like, if I had more time, I have no doubt that I could get the 3-star levels eventually. I mean, at the very end of it, I think I had like somewhere around 8 to go. But I mean, I just ran out of time. That's all it was. Decent game,
it'll probably come back.
Yeah. Decent game. And then my other one for the week was Iron Hero, which is very, very easy, quick completion that I did at 3 a.m. last night just because I couldn't sleep. Thought, alright, I'll crack out something that's going to be 15, 20 minutes. And then I kept on getting to the very last achievement and dying over and over. Which, of course, like, trying to concentrate when you're half asleep, but you can't sleep is just great.
And you get the yips. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, I earned 1,370 Gamerscore for the week. I did have Black Ops appear on my TA list, but it's weird because I haven't... I think when I've logged in last week to a very old 360 in the bedroom that Nikita's been using primarily, I think I must have
loaded up.
I think I must have popped these offline like years back, and it's finally just I finally, because I've got two 360s, yeah. So I primarily use the one in my one on my gaming desk, and I just didn't worry about the one in the bedroom because if I ever load anything in the bedroom, it's just on the Xbox One.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It does happen.
So I mean, I think I got the veteran campaign and all that done offline.
All right.
Like another 140 or something, but very weird. But yeah, that was my week. What about you?
Well, again, I'm on cleanup duty.
Yep.
And the Metal Gear Saga continues.
Yep.
In between working on the game, I sat Alison down and I was like, hey, do you want to learn about Metal Gear? And she's like, sure. I'm like, guess. I was like, do you want to watch this video about it? And she's like, yeah, okay, sure. That sounds interesting. I was like, well, guess what? It's 12 hours long. And we're going to sit here and watch all of it.
This sounds exactly like me trying to look up Mortal Kombat last night and understand the story. Because I know that next year Nikita wants to go to the movie. And I'm like, all right, I better just watch a bit of this year just to understand what's going on. No hope.
No. So I played her like a fiddle. She was like, absolutely, I'll watch this video about Metal Gear. I was like, great, 12 hours long, let's watch all of it. So this guy, Kefka Productions, has basically taken Metal Gear Solid in chronological order, Metal Gear Solid 3, Peace Walker, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 4, and stitched them together into a 12-hour long movie, basically.
Just with the cutscenes and all that, pretty much?
Pretty much. I mean, he cuts out a bunch of like cutscenes that weren't relevant. It's not every cutscene. It's edited.
Okay.
So like you lose a little bit of the character stuff, but it gives you a really good gist of the story at least.
Is there like what's the word? Does he give his own voiceover and explain things?
Nope,
or is it
not at all. Not at all. It's all just pure no commentary. Things. He lets the story tell itself, and it's pretty good. Actually, I actually quite enjoy. I mean, like there are still gaps of things that they sort of had to cut out. Like 12 hours is a long time. He has done individual ones for the move, like the games themselves that are like 7 or 8 hours long each. So it's like if you really want to get in depth on one game that you thought was really interesting, you can learn a lot more about it.
Sounds like a Kirby torture device.
Yeah, actually.
Just to skip cutscenes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Spazpol would hate it. But for the game itself, I have been playing a lot of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yep.
So I think last week I had just finished my second playthrough.
Sounds about right.
Yep. So basically, for those who don't know, one of the achievements is called Great Dane, and it is for collecting all of the dog tags in the game. So the way it works is you have to go up and you have to go behind an enemy, point your gun at them and hold them up, go in front of them, point the gun at their head, make them drop their dog tag, and then you pick up the dog tag, you knock them out. Some of them, you need to like shoot them in the arm or shoot near them to scare them to do it. But you know, to make sure you have a silenced weapon, and also you don't want to get seen while that's happening. So, there are 240 dog tags in the game. The problem is that there's only like 40 or 50 enemies per run through, which means that you need to, and the dog tags only change per difficulty. So that means you have to run through on very easy, get all the dog tags, run through on easy, get all the dog tags, run through on normal, get all the dog tags, run through on hard, get all the dog tags, and run through on extreme and get all the dog tags.
That sounds like absolute torture.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I'm skipping all the cutscenes, so I can get through I've gotten through the game in about 3 hours, so it's not too bad. And every time you get a certain amount of them and you finish a run through, you unlock a special item that'll help you run through it the next time. So the first one I got was like unlimited ammo, so now I can shoot as much as I want.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got one that was stealth camo, so I'm essentially invisible, so enemies can't see me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't help with the boss fights.
So you're not Solid Snake anymore, you're Invisible Snake.
Exactly. Well, I mean, technically you play as Raiden, but I'm not going to get into it. Yes. Yeah, so the problem with the game is you run into the boss fights.
Yep.
Because the boss fights aren't really affected by, like, the unlimited ammo is helpful, but you can't use stealth on them because they'll see you every time. And they just get more and more difficult as you go up the difficulties. So, I am at the very end of the game on my extreme playthrough. Is
this the very last one you're doing, or are you working it down?
No, I've done all the other ones.
Yep.
I've collected all the dog tags. All I need to do is beat the game. The ending of that game. So basically, most of the game isn't too difficult. There's one or two kind of annoying boss fights. Like the first boss fight against Fortune isn't too bad because you're just basically dodging. You just have to get the dodging down. But on Extreme, she shoots 2 shots at once. She has a railgun. And normally what you do is she shoots it and then you just hide behind stuff and just dodge the projectiles. In Extreme difficulty, she shoots 2 every time she takes a shot, which means that your cover just gets destroyed instantly. So you need to start cartwheeling back and forth across the room on the right timing. And if you get the timing wrong, you just get pegged and you get shot twice and you're dead. That one's a bit annoying, but it's just got to hold out. Fat Man isn't too bad because he's a fat guy on roller skates. You just got to shoot him in the head a few times. If you have the unlimited ammo, it's not a problem. The Harrier Jet, though, is one of the most annoying boss fights I've ever played in my entire life. Because, like, thankfully there's like a safe zone, but essentially you are on the ground with a rocket launcher trying to fight a Harrier 2 jet that is flying around strafing you with missiles and machine gun fire. And on extreme difficulty, it's basically one-hit kill. Yeah, not... So, like, you take it... There are some tricks that I figured out. There's like a safe zone that you can kind of hide in that helps. But it took quite a while to get through. But I got through it. Well, it took me about an hour of trying it, and I got it. The next boss fight against Vamp is fine. There's some annoying platforming stuff. Then you get to the fun bit, the grand finale, basically. You need to provide sniper cover for a woman walking on a pontoon bridge. There are 3 struts she needs to walk between. There are hidden claymores on the rows between them. So you need to switch to thermals, shoot out the claymores, cover her to make sure she doesn't get killed by the floating gun turrets and soldiers. Also, you don't get any ammo pickups, so you better have the unlimited ammo wig. Then you also need to find the claymores on the second one, and then if you haven't read the guide, there is a hidden claim because the number of claymores increases depending on the difficulty. All they do on extreme is they add one hidden claymore that if you start in your starting position, you cannot see. So you could, and it's right at the end. So you could do all of this, you could kill all the guys, and she walks right into it and dies. And you had no idea it was even there. And also, because it's a sniper rifle, your hands tremble. So your aim, like the game is not dead straight with aiming. You have to take these pills that allow you to essentially stop you from trembling. You only get 5 of them, and then there's a sniper boss fight immediately after that bit. So you need to save at least some of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that bit was a pain, but I got through it. The next part, you get stripped of all your weapons and armor and items, and you have to do a relatively difficult sneaking part. Thankfully, you've done it 4 times before by now, so you know how to get through it.
Yeah.
That bit was a bit annoying, but I knew it pretty well, so I got through it first try. After that, you have to fight 1 million of these guys with swords or P90s, and like the first bit is running through a corridor and they drop down, and they just keep dropping. They just keep and then you go into a room and it's a big circle, and they just keep coming. Like the fight takes there's 10 minutes worth of reinforcements just piling into the room as you just mow them down mercilessly. Oh, and I forgot to mention on extreme, there are no health pickups in the entire game except for this one part where Snake throws you some if you're on low health. For the rest of the game, no health pickups. Usually, on the easiest difficulty, you have 6. Anyway.
Is this like So it's checkpointed, yeah? So, like, you never get back to full health, yeah?
No, basically no. So like if you take damage outside of a boss battle, you might as well just die.
Yeah.
After you finish boss battles, your health does get regenerated, which is nice. But so I
beat the whole game, and then you're fine.
Pretty much, yeah. So I beat the Tengus, and I was like, okay, finally got through that bit. It took ages. I died a bunch of times, but I managed to get to the second to last boss.
Yep.
Which is Metal Gear Rays. You have to fight a bunch of them. On easy mode, you got to kill like 2 of them. On normal, you got to kill like 6, which is still quite a few of them. On hard, I had to kill 12.
Yep.
On extreme, apparently you need to kill 20 of them.
Jeez.
So you need to have your and they're just yeah. Again, if you know Metal Gear, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's ridiculous. I will get it eventually because it's just pattern memorization. They don't have that many attacks, and it's just endurance. You just gotta you gotta make sure you hit the right times, dodge the right way, but you got to do it 20 times without screwing up, basically. And then there's still one more boss fight after that I'm going to have to deal with. So, and even then, I'm not even done with the game. I've still got to go through all like 500 of the virtual missions. So, who knows when I'll get that finished? I think it's going to be my white whale. If I ever finish that game, it might be my proudest completion ever. Yeah, it's up there. It's like, I love Metal Gear. It's fantastic, but man, does it test my patience sometimes. Anyway, I've been talking about that too long, so I'll flip through the rest. I played a little bit of Prototype. Yeah.
It's like one of my. It's like one of my. It's one of my favorite, like, terrible achievement games.
Oh, yeah, achievements are awful in that game. Like, the challenges are just going to be horrific. I barely got through them on the 360. So
it's like one of those games, yeah, that you just you love it, but you hate it because it's like, I want to get the completion. I want to get this done, and it's like, I'm really enjoying the gameplay and everything, but why? No.
Yeah, why do they have to make it so difficult?
Why, Alex? Why?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to. Yeah, so I basically had played that for a random to do list or UHH or something ages ago. So I figured, well, I should probably clean it up because it's eating into my completion percentage. So I've started a little bit of that.
Or Xbox One.
I've done the 360 version already, so I'm doing the Xbox One version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just basically started from the beginning because I want to get the no deaths achievement and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've also started up a Friends Gate, which is the Chemco Trash title, 25 hours. Yeah, so I hadn't played any of these. I bought a bunch of them a while back. They're terrible. They're just awful. They're just like they're awful mobile ports that still have like microtransactions in them and stuff. Like dear God, like, who would want to play this crap?
I have a backlog. I'm proud to say they're not in it.
I've got a few. Like, I'm glad I don't buy them anymore. But like, I have maybe like 5 or 6 of them that I need to do. This is apparently one of the easy ones because you can basically auto battle your way through the entire game except for a single battle. So it's just a bit grindy, but whatever. And then the last thing that I've been working on is Resident Evil 6 on the Xbox One. I finally pulled my finger out and went and finished up all the campaigns. Did it on professional. And by did it on professional, I mean I finished it all on the easiest difficulty, and then did the last part of the last section of every chapter on professional to get the achievement.
How's that?
So, yeah, that game's not good.
Yeah.
But
this
it's
is
like
a shitty one,
yeah, lots of no horror to be found. The only horror is that it made more money than all the other ones.
Yeah.
The game itself is like aggressively mediocre. Like, the game plays okay. Like, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It is a mediocre third-person shooter. Like, the fact that it has weird deformities and like every fan service character you could think of is what makes it a Resident Evil game. But oh boy, I mean, I'm glad I got the infinite ammo. I just finished up the grind and I've done most of the multiplayer. I have one achievement left for one of the multiplayer modes for killing 2,000 zombies. I'm like a quarter of the way there. It's just I'll probably sit down this week and just finish it at some stage. But it's kind of boring. But yeah, again, I'm all on cleanup duty, so I'm probably not going to be scoring too much. So I only got 930 this week. I might crack into the backlog and try and find something a little easy and fun to play. But we'll see what comes up.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, well, again, I did play that. I did play a little bit of that. I've been trying to, but like Chain of Memories, I'm really not enjoying that much, and
it takes a bit.
Yeah, like the setup is kind of not fun. But man, Birth by Sleep is not good. I really don't like that. I'm just not feeling it.
I played a little and I was just like, I want to. Like you give me those 4 games, and the first thing I want to do is just play 2. 2's by far the best.
And like I love 1, like I had a really good time playing through 1, but 2 is like, and with all the extra stuff they added to 2, it's a fantastic game. And it just really feels like a step back, unfortunately. But I will. Yeah. I have promised that I will get through it, so I will put it back on the list
in 2025.
Yes, exactly. Well, now they're on Game Pass, so I've got no excuse.
Speaking of that, I reckon I'm gonna give Metro Exodus a run through. I'm gonna try my best to try and get it done before it leaves Game Pass. If I can get the base game completion, then I'm gonna try for the DLC.
So we've got a few things leaving Game Pass in the next couple of weeks, right?
Yeah,
or end of the month.
So I've added it in. Metro Exodus is probably the biggest title I want to say on the list. Life is Strange 2, which I'm hoping to also. I honestly just kept on putting this one off.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because I really loved Life is Strange 1, so I don't know. I don't know.
I had the same thing. Life is Strange 2 just did not hook me at all, really, unfortunately.
Yeah. Other games, Shadow Tactics, which I picked up EB for $5. So if there's any copies floating around, recommend you do that. Metal Slug X, Neochrome, Steamworks Dig 2, and The Flame and the Flood. Also all leaving most likely at the end of this month.
Yeah, not a lot of quick stuff in there. I mean, you could probably do Metal Slug, but the other ones are going to be some investment.
I would definitely I mean, if you were going to go for any, probably Life is Strange 2, 2 to 3 hours per episode, roughly.
Pretty much, you could get
Steamworks Dig 2 if you wanted to like a 25 to 30 hour.
I really wanted to play Metro, but again, I just didn't have the time. And when they came out with the DLC, I just thought, well, I'll probably just wait because the DLC is pretty expensive as well.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a strong crack on it. I mean, if I can get as much done, it's getting to that point where it's probably going to drop $20 or under, like physical.
Yeah, and it has been on sale several times before, so I think that's a pretty good indication. You'll probably see it on the Black Friday sales towards the end of the year.
Yeah. Going into the Gamerscore games, though, we've got the Joybits all-in-one mega bundle. So you got your Doodle God games, Evolution, Crime City, and... Wait, is this just being put out of order, or is it actually the bundle?
Yep, that's the bundle.
Okay, yeah, sorry. And how do you say that?
Veranier?
What's that? Never played it.
It's that Veranier. It's that very, very weird point-and-click adventure game that I recommend everyone try.
Okay.
Yeah, it's completely out of their mind. It's weird in a way that I was not expecting. From a I thought it was just going to be a cute point-and-click where it's like, oh hey, find all these things, help the rewire this machine, find all the bugs. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it is that, but then in between the levels, some weird stuff happens.
Like how weird are we talking?
Like you're in a mental asylum. I've talked about it a couple of times. I would recommend, like, this bundle is a really good deal, 50% off for $14.99. I mean, even if you just want the Doodle God games, those are really easy, and Veranier is a simple completion. That's 3,000 points there, real easy. Yeah,
for $5 each, pretty much. Going from that, Air Guitar Warrior Gamepad Edition, 75% off for $3.74. Buck and Night, which I'm probably going to pick up, 40% off for $4.47. Candle, The Power of the Flame, 70% off for $5.99. Chromagun, 50% for $7.49. Embers of Miriam, 60% for $5.99. Freeze Meat, bargain, $1, 90% off. And Hamrick, 75% off for $4.99. I know barely any of those titles except for Bucket Night.
So actually, Bucket Night's the one thing on there I haven't played. So Candle is a pretty good platformer that I would recommend. I think is that that's the side-scrolling one, I believe. It's like a puzzle platformer, pretty good. Chromagun is very similar to Portal. It's one of those kinds of games where you play around with colors to solve puzzles. First person. Embers of Miriam is a it's a side-scrolling platformer with puzzles, but it's more of a platformer. Like you do a lot more like wall jumps and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's not terribly challenging. Just make sure you check a guide for the collectibles. It's got some interesting. You change between light and dark, and it's got some interesting sort of puzzle mechanics in it. Freeze Me is your sort of standard third-person platformer, and then Hamrick is a very weird side-scrolling platformer where you use words to create things in a sort of Scribblenauts way, sort of. But it's like, again, you kind of have to play it to understand it, but it's not a very difficult game.
Is it like Scribblenauts mixed with LetterQuest?
Kind of, almost, but it's more like you solve puzzles using words that are already in the world, and you sort of repurpose them.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I think for $4.99, I think it's worth a look, and it's quite easy and short.
So recommendations, I'm going to say Sims 4, 90% off for $4.99.
Another EA game we forgot to talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours. Oh, yeah, true. Sims massive money maker for them. So 2 to 3 hours roughly using the guide, and then as soon as you're done with it too, digital purchase, just give it to your girlfriend, your partner.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah. What are you recommending?
I got a couple of recommendations. I'm going to recommend a couple of side-scrolling fighting games, side-scrolling combat. Guacamelee.
Yeah.
Guacamelee 2 complete, 70% off, $6.74. So that's Guacamelee, the base game, and the 2 expansion packs. The one is the challenge pack, and the other one is the costume pack.
I think it's both on sale on Xbox One and the Windows Store as well, if you want to get the stack.
Great deal. Yes, I would definitely jump on that. Guacamelee is one of my favorite Metroidvanias in terms of both humor and style and gameplay. Like it's
great.
It's like they nailed it in every sense of the word. And the first one's really good, and the second one I think is potentially even better.
How many games that can do that too? Usually it's always just the sequels miss the point.
Yeah. And also Mark of the Ninja Remastered, 50% off, $9.99. Just like basically the best ninja game ever made. And I can't think of a single ninja game that's better than that. Actually, to be honest,
Assassin's Creed Ninjas.
Yeah, once that comes out, that's obviously going to be the best ninja game ever made. But for now, cool. It's Mark of the Ninja. Has the DLC couple levels in there, which is some real interesting, difficult stuff. Game is not simple. There is quite a bit involved with it, but it is not unfair, it is challenging. But yeah, I think it's got the perfect balance of it, I would say. And I absolutely love it. Like it's a fantastic game. I played through it on the 360 when it was the original one and the remastered version. I think actually if you own the 360 version, they gave you the remastered one for free. So
okay.
But if you don't own it, highly recommend it. And are you buying anything, Cameron?
Yeah, like I said before, might just get Bucket Night, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there are a few others on sale that we would normally, obviously, we're trying to add things in there that we know about or we're interested in. So there are a few others on the sale that you should definitely check out that are going for quite cheap. If I was still buying games, I probably would be picking up a few things this week, but I'm not. So we'll keep on keeping on.
Yeah, there's a few I might check out later, but there's nothing really that's just caught my massive interest. Mainly this week, I'm just going to be focusing on Game Pass.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, then we'll crack into the milestones.
Yep.
So, for Achievements 1, we've got Hawkeye Barry 20 has reached 9,000 Achievements 1. Kronos has reached 14,000 Achievements 1. And Lord Chabello 13 has reached 15,000 Achievements 1.
Whoa. Good job, guys.
Good job, guys. Yeah, it's really good. For Gamerscore, D. Judd has reached 200,000. Jay Blackie, Jay Quellen has reached 300 Gamerscore. Freemhole has reached 350,000 Gamerscore. And Enigma Gamer 77 has reached 450,000 Gamerscore.
Woo.
Pretty good. Halfway there, guys. TA score, AZ Mongoose has reached a new milestone of 300,000 TA score. Games played. I don't know why we put games played in there. That's not an achievement.
I mean, like, look, games bought, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, just showing off, flashing that cash, making it rain. Professor Pluto is making it rain with 500 played games, and ZZ Urban Spaceman, not to be outdone, has now played 1,750 games because he is a madman.
He's gone streaking.
Yeah, we've got a couple of streakers. We've got Azejo has reached 2,500 achievement win streak, and Mad Eye Pad Eye has reached a 22,500 achievement win streak. Wow. Okay, that one.
There's a difference between those two. I was like, I nearly put them around. I nearly put them around the wrong way, and I was like, wait, no, this one's significantly higher.
Yeah, people are feeling the need to achieve apparently, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think
ends it up. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, just want to. We just got the announcement this evening that apparently PAX Australia has been cancelled.
Yeah.
For this year, which is disappointing. But you know, expected it. Yeah, it's understandable in the current situation. I mean, I was hoping to go. I mean, I probably wasn't going to be able to make it. But even looking at it now, if I was to go with our current climate, I would be in a 14-day quarantine to get there, and then a 14-day quarantine when I got back. And you know, I'm a nobody. Can you imagine what they would have to do to actually get proper people who bring people in? You know,
that's exactly it.
It's a really hard ask to people down to Australia at the best of times.
I know a Kiwi that's gone back and forth 3 times in the last 2 months.
Oh boy! And
his Facebook post at the moment is just like, yeah, spend 90% of the time naked. Went out for a 15-minute mental air breather yesterday. Other than that, they're just feeding me on vegan food. It's not worth it. No,
absolutely, yeah, no. It's a real shame, but like obviously, you know, the safety of the people comes way before anything else. So,
and anything to get us not hosting a panel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they heard we wanted to host a panel, and they're like, "No, shut it down." All right. But if you want to hear more of our musings, you can contact us. hello@realgamerscore is our email address. You can send us a question. Twitter @realgamerscore, discord.io/realgamerscore, or patreon.com/realgamerscore if you want to give us some cash, help keep the lights on, allow us to do prizes and giveaways, and also you get the outtakes eventually when Kirby gets around to doing them. Who should potentially be back next week.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Well, we've just jinxed it. You're going to have another week of just us two.
I was going to say eyes crossed, but I figured that'd be in bad taste.
So yeah, I'm just as simple as that. How would I help the podcast?
So it would be really helpful if you'd subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast platform you listen to, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You know, I mean, look, I'll put this on whatever platform we need to. Okay, if you leave us a review, tell your friends. Word of mouth is always the big one for us. Again, if you, as we always say, if you're in a boosting party, wedge it into the conversation as naturally as possible. And by that I mean when you set up the boosting lobby, make sure that the application is they have to answer what the song of the week was on whatever episode we're up to before you allow them to get your achievements.
Name your favorite host.
Exactly. It's me, by the way. And then retweet all our Twitter stuff. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Patreon. You guys know the deal. If you've listened this far, you understand what the podcast is. You understand what we do, and what helps us. And you know, smash that like button. You know, whatever the hell people do. I don't know. I'm not up with the kids these days.
Smash up. Yeah. Go visit us at Link's Hole. Nobody will get that reference. Okay. One person will get that reference, and I'll just get like, "What the hell, man? What the hell?"
Yeah, that's what it's for. All right. And so we'll go for our individual stuff. So, Cameron, if people want to get in contact with you, where will they find you?
Man, you'll find me all over the place these days. You'll catch me on Twitter. Real Gamerscore is the one of the admins. Words. One of the admins with Rampant Meerkat on the Xbox Achievement Community on Facebook. Once again, love all the people that are joining. Thank you very much. If you want to get me on any of my personal stuff, Mixer, TA, Xbox, just all ShadowlessEdge. ShadowlessEdge. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to try and stream a little bit more lately, but it just depends what I'm playing. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, don't talk to me. And if you're a streamer, don't ever talk to me. Streaming is the worst thing that's ever happened to the gaming community, and if you stream, I hate you.
I love it. I love how we just have like a nice hour and a half conversation. You just shut me down like that, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Really
Like,
just hurt my feelings.
I can't believe I've been podcasting with a goddamn streamer. All right, that's it for this week. We'll see you guys later.
Catch you guys. Peace.
Peace.